Howdy y'all, my name is Madeline Ray. I'm sure you've noticed if you're interacting with your friends or family, or even psychoanalyzing yourself, that there's been a rapid decline in mental health in the recent years, and social media has contributed to this 21st century mental health crisis, of which action needs to be taken immediately through the destigmatization of mental health and increased access to resources regarding it. This issue is alarming, and it should be a priority among us because not only is our age group and our university demographic the most affected, but it's getting worse day by day and our future generations are at risk. Mental health is arguably as important as physical health because it has a vast effect on every aspect of our lives, and I'm sure you've noticed that when your mental health is down, your physical health tends to be too, and vice versa. Mental health decline in this day and age is over-exacerbated by the overuse of social media, as I previously stated. This issue is important to combat immediately because it's increasing rates of suicide. The CDC's website states that the rate of death by suicide has increased significantly in the US since 1999, as seen by this chart, and you can see that some states have increased from 30 to 40%. This chart shows the suicide rates up until 2016, and it's actually increased more since then. This epidemic is causing death of otherwise healthy individuals, and this is definitely an urgent concern. Increased mental health concerns from social media, such as anxiety and depression, should be urgent to us as university students, especially because the CDC's website states that the percent of individuals experiencing symptoms of depression is actually highest ages 18 to 29. As you can see here, the dark blue bars show ages 18 to 29 with varying severities of depression, and it is the highest among all age groups. It's a blaring concern for our demographic because most, if not all, of us are 18 to 29. And our age is also the top social media users. We were the first to grow up in the age of social media, and our brains were developing all at the same time as this. This problem is rooted deeper than simply just using Instagram or social media because it started with us. Substantiated research shows that social media is the culprit of mental health decline and anxiety and depression. However, the driving factor behind social media's large influence on mental states across the US is actually the individuals behind the screen. That would be us. Social media is not some to blame inanimate evil catalyst. It's just a collection of its users, and that's us, our activity, and our interactions on social media. In the article entitled "The Social Dilemma, Social Media and Your Mental Health," author Sterling states that when people go online and see that they're excluded, whether they know or not, it affects their thoughts and feelings and leads to physical health issues. It associated social media with decreased and deprived sleep, memory loss, decreased academic ability, and physical health symptoms resulting from anxiety and depression, like nausea or headaches. This crisis is also fueled by a lack of education and stigmatization regarding mental health and access to resources, whether that be on or off of social media. In grassroots mental health groups' use of advocacy strategies and social media messaging, author Smith Frigerio states that the stigmatization in society actually keeps individuals from seeking the help that we need. And I know a lot of individuals, including myself, scared to reach out for help because of the negative connotation behind the terms anxiety and depression. We fear to be deemed as weak if we seek professional help. In a similar article called "Working with the Media to Destigmatize Mental Illness," author Mayer states that the ability to improve mental health systems is hindered by society's lack of understanding. It is difficult for society to improve these systems when the people within the society are stigmatizing it, and these systems are meant to help us, but it's just causing a circular issue that is almost impossible to fix if nobody wants to take action. While this issue is progressing, honestly, very rapidly and dangerously, leading to suicide, not all hope is lost. The solution to this mental health epidemic because of social media is increased access to mental health resources and society working together to destigmatize this topic as a whole. The main problem of anxiety and depression is obviously from prolonged social media use. So, social media should use that to increase access to mental health resources right on their very platforms. In the same article I referenced, author Smith Ruggiero states that groups confront negative representations of mental health in the media by providing avenues to communicate about mental health through online social media presences, and it's been proven to work. If every platform of social media were to implement user-friendly access to either live psychologists on our feeds or maybe anonymous helplines in our direct messages, this issue could be remedied right at the root. And tackling this cause would cause a rapid decrease in mental health issues, and social media would be a less toxic place. These resources also need to be equitably available for different socioeconomic groups and systems. In an article entitled Resources for Mental Health, Scarcity, Inequity, and Inefficiency, Saxena states that the populations with more socioeconomic deprivation need more mental health care, but they don't have access to it. Saxena continues to discuss how these resources include policy, infrastructure, and mental health services in the community and funding for it. This increased access to resources on and offline in all communities would aid in normalizing and destigmatizing the issue. In the same article I referenced, Saxena states that stigma about mental health issues constrains the use of already available resources. And these issues and solutions go hand in hand because it starts with the citizens, us, changing the conversation to evoke change. The implications of denying this proposed solution would, to put it bluntly, be deadly because the rates are increasing of mental health struggles along with rates of suicide. Honestly, imagine you're on Instagram or another networking platform and you can tab over to get real life psychological advice or maybe an anonymous helpline and possibly even have just better access to these resources in your school or your community. I'm sure it would be very helpful for all of us. The problem is that mental health is declining from this overuse with society's stigma, and it can be remedied with destigmatization and increased resources both on and offline. So social media in society, coupled with the stigma, it's causing a mental health epidemic, and action needs to be taken immediately. And as I said, what we need to do is increase access to resources and work together to reduce this stigma. We, as stakeholders in this issue, are considerably close to the negative effects since it affects our age the most, whether that be us or our loved ones and close friends. We need to work together to encourage our policymakers or social media content creators, or even just amongst ourselves in our community, start a conversation about mental health in the age of social media. And this doesn't cost us a dime. And it would honestly overall really help mental health issues in the age of social media. Thank you very much for listening.